Assalamualaikum, IB2 Surveyor Dr. Ahmad FAIZ. In this video, my groupmates and I will be presenting on the life cycle costing based on the question past year, June 2019. There will be a total of 2 questions being presented in this video, which are question 1 and question 2.
Question 1 requires us to compare the total present value cost of option 1 and option 2, where option 1 is a proposed construction of suitable large size factory with no allowance for future extension. Meanwhile, for option 2, it is a proposed construction of a medium size factory with allowance for future floor extension. Therefore, a bigger foundation and structures are required to accommodate the future building lot.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Yasmin Binti Arshad and I'll be presenting on the calculation for option 1. The first thing that we're going to calculate is the site cost, which we will use amount of 1 at 4 years at 9%. And according to the evaluation table, we will get 1.4116. Then we use that amount to multiply with the land cost, which is 3.5 million. Then we will get the answer. And then for the building cost, it has already been given, so we will directly use that, 7.5 million. And for the infrastructure cost, it is 20% out of the building cost, which will be 1.5 million. And for the preliminaries, it will be 8% of the building and infrastructure cost. Then we will get 720,000, and for the contingencies, it will be 3% of the building cost and infrastructure and preliminaries, which we will get 290,000, 91,600. And for the pre-development cost, it is 1.8 million. Then the total construction cost will be 11,811,600. Now, for the annual management, we will use 2.5% multiply with the total construction cost, and then we will get 295,290, which then we will multiply with PV of 1 per annum at 50 years at 9%. And according to the valuation table, we will get 10.9617. Multiplying with the amount just now, we will get 3.23 million. For the annual operating, we will also use PV of 1 per annum at 50 years at 9%, multiply with 550,000, and then we will get the answer. Now, for the minor repair, it will be carried out every 5 years. So, we will use PV of 1 at 5 years at 9%, and then we will take the years 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and 45. We won't be taking the 50th year because the economic life for the building is 50 years. Now the total of the PVF is 1.8181 and multiplied with 350,000, and we will get the answer for that one. There is no major renovation being carried out, so it won't be calculated for option 1. Now, for the painting and redecoration is also carried out every 5 years, so it will be the same as minor repairs, and then multiply it with 300,000, and we will get 545,430. Now, for the total PV of option 1, it will be 27,199,780 and 39 cents.
For option 2, in order to get the site cost, we will use amount of 1 multiply with 3 years, where the 2 years are the period of when the land was bought and 1 year is the construction period. And then we will multiply with 9% of interest rate and multiply it again with 3.5 million, which it is a cost of the land that the owner manufacturer ABC bought. For the building cost, it is 6 million, where it is already stated in the question. For infrastructure cost, it is 15% of building cost. Meanwhile, for the preliminaries, it is 10% multiplied with the total value of infrastructure and the building cost itself. Contingencies, on the other hand, it is 5% multiplied with the total value of building cost, infrastructure cost, and the preliminaries. Pre-development cost for option 2 is 2.3 million, where it is already stated in the question also. Next, we will total up the building costs, infrastructure costs, preliminaries, contingencies, and the pre-development costs in order to get the total construction cost of option 2. Next, for annual management, we will multiply 2% with the total construction cost, and we will use PV of 1 per annum, multiply with 40 years of economic life, and then multiply with 9% of interest rate. For annual operating, we will use PV of 1 per annum, multiply with 40 years of economic life, multiply it again with 9% of interest rate. For minor repair, we will use PV of 1 times 40 years of economic life and multiply it with 9% of interest rate as well. For major renovation, for option 2, it will impose for the years of 20 only, and painting and redecoration work will utilize PV of 1 multiply with every 5 years with 9% interest rate. The total PV for option 2 is around 62 million.
Okay, now that we've calculated the total PV for option 1 and option 2, now we're going to multiply both of it with PV of 1 at 2 years at 9% for option 1 and PV of 1 at 1 year at 9% for option 2. The year is the construction period. After multiplying both of those, option 1 will be 22,894,055 and 60 cents, and for option 2 it will be 57,717,452 and 57 cents. Okay, after that we will find the percentage difference in cost for both of them, which we will take option 1 minus with option 2 minus with option 1 divided by option 1 and multiply with 100%, which we will get 152.11%. Now, this shows that option 2 is 152.11% higher than option 1 in terms of cost, which means option 1 is more valuable than option 2 because it has a lower cost.
So let's continue with the questions 2A for the June 2019. So in this question, it was stated that the clients are proposing two type of system, automated parking system, which is system A and system B. So we are required to advise and calculate for the client on which of these two options give more value for money to the clients. So if you can see on the question that there are ASF rate that given, which is 3%. So we are going to use annual equivalent method for these questions. So before we proceed to the calculations, we need to know what is the ASF plus I first. So the interest rate was given is 6.5, which we convert it to the decimal point will be 0.065. And if we referring to the evaluation table for
charge now
3% of 15 years, we get 0.0538, and we get SF plus I for 15 years of economic life for system A, which is 0.1188, and meanwhile for system B is 0.1022, because these two have a different economic life, so it's going to be different SF plus 1I value. So let's start with a correction of A, which is on the initial cost. So for system A, the initial cost is 500,000. So we times it by the SF plus I value of system A, which is 0.1188. We get a 59.4,000. And meanwhile for system B, we times 6,000 with 0.1022, we get 61.32,000. And for the question for the B, which is on the operating and running cost, for system A, it was stated in question that it will cost system A 7,000 ringgit per month. So in 1 year we have 12 months basically, so we times it by 12 months of 7,000, so we get 84,000. Meanwhile for system B, a bit different, which is it costs 8,000 per month for operation and running costs, so we get 96,000. Moving on to the ticketing cost. So both of these system have the same costing, which is 1.8 thousand every 6 months. So in 1 year we have 12 months, so we're going to times this 1.8 thousand with 2, so we get both 3.6 thousand for system A and system B. The next one is on the servicing cost. For system A, it will cost RM 500 for every 3 months. So if we calculate it in 1 year, for 3 months, it will be 4 times of 3 months for the payments. So 500 times 4, we get 2000 for system A. And for system B, RM 800 every 6 months, which we times by 2. 800 by 2, we get 1.6 thousands. I will pass this to AYUNNI.
The next part of the calculation is by calculating and adjusting the replacement of components for each system. Based on the equation, the cost and period for replacement is different for both systems, where the cost for system A is 8.5k ringgit for every 4 years, meanwhile for system B is 9.5k ringgit for every 7 years. So the adjustment is calculated by using the PV of 1 method, as the cost is periodic. So as you can see here, the replacement for system A is on year 4, year 8, and year 12. Meanwhile, system B is on year 7 and year 14 only. This is based on the economic life of the building. So after getting the total value for PV of 1 for both systems, which is gained from the valuation table, the total will be multiplied with ASF plus I that we've calculated before, which is equal to 0.1188, and it will be times with the cost of replacement for each system. So at the end, the total for replacement cost for system A is about 1.k ringgit, and system B is about 1k ringgit plus only. So lastly, the total cost is calculated by summing up the overall cost that we've gained from initial cost, operation and running costs, ticketing costs, servicing, and including the replacement cost just now. So therefore, it can be concluded that for this equation, system A is more valuable after determining the percentage difference for both systems, as the overall cost for system B is more expensive by 7.75% compared with system A. Next, I'll proceed with the next equation related to LCC, which is question 2B here. So in our opinion, there are 5 main reasons on how LCC is an essential tool for effective decision making. The first key benefit of LCC is to improve budgeting and financial planning for a project. By evaluating all future costs, LCC helps in accurate budgeting, as the resources can be allocated more effectively and unexpected expenses can be prevented. Secondly, enhance value for money. For example, a developer deciding between traditional and green building techniques. Although green building techniques might be more costly initially, but they offer benefits such as lower energy costs, potential higher property values over time, which results in a higher return on investment. Therefore, choosing green building technique will be the best choice. This is in relation with the third benefit, which is to get an overall view of cost for the project. On initial costs, this is to prevent decision making that will be solely on initial costs, which lead to higher expenses over time. And this will include operation costs, maintenance costs, and even end-of-life costs like demolition or disposal costs. Next, for better risk management, LCC allows for the identification assessments of risks associated with different cost elements. Consideration on durability, maintenance requirements, and potential damage that may occur from weather are needed to minimize long-term risks and costs of the project. And lastly, for sustainability, LCC supports sustainable construction practices by highlighting the environmental impacts and long-term benefits of different options. So I'll give you an example in choosing building materials for the construction of a new office building, where conventional insulation and high-performance insulation materials being the options. So even though conventional insulation is cheaper in terms of initial cost, but high performance insulation material will be able to reduce the operational cost and maintenance cost, which makes the overall life cycle cost is cheaper than the conventional one. Therefore, it is proven that LCC is really an essential tool for effective decision making.
In conclusion, we know that life cycle costing will determine the long-term cost savings because it identifies cost-effective options over the product's lifespan, reducing overall expenses. Secondly, it informs decision making, which provides a clear view of financial implications, aiding in better purchasing decisions. And lastly, it improves budgeting and financial planning because it enhances budgeting accuracy by forecasting future costs and benefits. That is all from us. Thank you.